All right. Well, I am super excited to have John from Insight join us at the North America Partner AI Forum today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a pleasure. Looking forward to talking some golf after this. But before we get into it, I am curious, John, what was the first time that you experienced Gemini and the light bulb went off like, wow, this could be a game changer for us?
For me personally?
Yeah.
It's not exciting, but I think it does speak to how it can improve people's day-to-day lives, especially professionally. I know nothing around using macros and writing significant Excel sheets, and I took an opportunity to help build out a database repository for my team to be able to look up clients and accelerate their sales process. And I asked Gemini to build it for me with a couple of prompts, and it is fast, it's utilized by everybody, and it made me realize that I have a real assistant that can do things far beyond my capability.
I love it. I have plenty of personal examples of my wife in the garden with AI, and I'm like, you could extrapolate it out from a business use case to personal use case. From a business standpoint, now everyone is talking agentic AI, right? How are you helping your customers use Gemini not just to do the simplistic things, but to build enterprise-grade deployments?
Sure. I think at Insight, we are looking at the current state of AI adoption, especially when we're talking about Gemini and Gemini Enterprise and Google's platform and capabilities, as not necessarily a technology problem, but we're looking at it as a human problem, a person problem. And how do we help ensure that the individuals that are going to use the tools have the wherewithal and capability, training, and grounding on how to use the product and get the most out of it, as opposed to focusing on building out as many agents as possible to put that magic in the background, right? So I think our core strategy is to ensure when we're talking to customers, when we're talking to executives and going through value frameworks on if Gemini and an AI agentic workflow is powerful for your organization, which it should be, right? We're looking at how can we create user personas within certain departments? How can we use those personas to level set the engagement for the end users around how they actually can find some capabilities? And then we're putting it into the hands of the employees and helping them or having them help us to find more of those agent workflows than just the executive level. And what that does is it becomes a flywheel around utilization and innovation.
Sure.
And we're seeing a significant amount of success in terms of adoption and growth on the platform more rapidly than if we just were to focus on using the technology.
So essentially you're building outcomes for each individual persona, right?
Different persona outcomes, grounding the data in the right areas of the business, and then having that employee base both, with the guidance of the executives of the company, create that psychological safety net around, hey, we want you to use this and use it successfully and don't be afraid to fail and make mistakes and let's get it out there and grow it rapidly. And with that bi-directional ownership of how we're actually deploying it, we're finding a higher level of adoption and growth.
And a follow-up in terms of, because one is a change management element, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how does Insight help customers make that leap from pilot purgatory to production environments?
Sure. Pilot purgatory. We are thinking about it in the regard of how can we move fast, but also structured, I guess is a good way to put it. We don't want to sit an organization in a pilot that is going to belabor the process of getting a functioning product that everybody knows works and works well in the hands of the rest of the organization. So again, thinking about it in terms of 5 specific steps, we're going to look at a level of data pipelines, data modeling, data grounding, as well as security and governance on that data. Then we're going to look at putting it in the hands of a handful of employees that have been identified in the organization, different department level, for probably only about 8 weeks. And that's where we're going to develop those user personas, and we're going to identify with our sponsors and stakeholders the agents that they know they want the end users to use outside of just learning how to prompt and going through promptathons and going through training sessions and getting some level of excitement and enablement. And then we're going to move from that to a broader deployment. Then once we get through the broader deployment, and we have more of a steady state, then we're going to actually put it into a level of governance model where we move it forward faster. So we don't want to spend a lot of time in a POC, right? The product works. It's Google's engine. It's Google's model. It's based on the entire foundation of Google Cloud from chip all the way to end user. And what we want to do is we want to ensure that it's being utilized as best as possible, as fast as possible.
I like promptathon. It's a new fun word for the agentic AI.
It's a hackathon to a promptathon, right?
So what are some of because Insight works across industries,
yes,
right?
We are a large systems integrator. We work across all different kinds of businesses, industries, enterprise, commercial, global in scope.
What would you say are some of the common misconceptions, though, that enterprise customers have on getting AI off the ground? Some of the challenges or just misconceptions as a whole?
Yeah, I think I'm repeating myself, but I can give a couple of examples of customers in that I think there's this desire to make a leap to create this level of technological adoption where the agents are creating this foundational work in the background that removes the human in the loop engagement on a day-to-day basis, right? And what we're seeing is to get that high level of adoption, you have to be grounded in making you, like what is Brian going to do that's going to make him happy today or successful today and help him become a more functional employee at work or get his work done faster and enable him to do more. And I think if we can look at that and create that level of engagement around the training, change management, and adoption, it leads to further utilization and higher utilization rates. So as an example, we have a customer, Freestar. They were looking at a sales data pipeline problem. How could we bring leads together faster and move them into a functional part of the workflow quicker? So outside of talking to the employees and talking to how their process was done, or by talking to them through their process, we were able to identify the level of data and areas of integration we could build the agents out. And then we were able to take that process or that lead generation process, I think we accelerated it by a 60x multiple.
Unbelievable.
Right? There's another customer of ours, Blackline. Their goal was as high of a global utilization process as possible. And when we were looking at Blackline's stated problem, that's when we realized, hey, this is a human issue. This isn't necessarily a data issue. And we took the Blackline feedback. We focused on that training and enablement first with a handful of agents that we could launch. And then they started to create that flywheel of innovation around new agents. And we have a 99% adoption rate of Gemini Enterprise at Blackline. It's a very good case study.
Just drop the mic right there. Those are the type of results, though, that are easy, that can be, or not easy, but they can be replicated, rinsed and repeated. And when you get those customer stories out there, that's like, I feel like those are just must-haves as you're winning more business.
Yeah, I think examples that you can highlight to other enterprises and other executives across industries that this is possible. This isn't just something you have to do, but it's something that your employees want to do.
Yep. And
if you create that bond between how am I doing my job every day to the technical team around security and identifying areas of improvement in the C-level around how can we put this into our process to create greater efficiencies. When you start to tie it all together and you make it about the employee, the employee is the one who's going to know where to find those efficiencies more than just one individual stakeholder. And I think those examples show the power of this product and this platform and this ecosystem that's developing. And we just want to be able to take those stories to customers and show that you can do it and you can do it fast and do it intelligently.
Well, speaking of ecosystem, we sincerely appreciate the partnership. And thank you, John, for joining us at the North America Partner AI Forum today.
Thank you very much. It was my pleasure.
Thank you.